Okay. I call the meeting to order today, Tuesday, April 21st, 2020 at 5 p.m. Roll call, we have Selectman Howdy Goodwin,
Here.
Mackenzie Jewett,
Here.
Kevin Buck,
Here.
myself, Jamie Thurlow, Town Manager Chris Saunders, and Town Clerk Katie Danduran. Members of the press and the public.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mike Mancicilia from tonight's meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to excuse Mike Manzalili from tonight's meeting. Is there any discussion?
He did contact me and say he would not be able to make it.
Yes. Yep. All those in favor, Howdy,
Yes.
Mackenzie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
myself is yes. All right, adoption of agendas. Anybody have anything they'd like to change? Okay, approval of minutes. We have the minutes from April 6th and also of April 10th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of April 6, 2020.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from April 6, 2020. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, Howdy,
Yes.
Mackenzie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
myself is yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of April 10, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of April 10th, 2020. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, Howdy,
Yes.
Mackenzie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
myself is yes. All right. Now, I didn't have a warrant list in mind, Chris.
Oh,
I
did you
didn't-
see my email from the middle of the day yesterday?
No. Is it on there?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on a second, I can pull it up.
Kevin, Mackenzie, Howdy, did you guys see that?
I got it, yeah.
Great. Okay.
Last minute sending in the All right, I have got it. We have warrant 103 for $10,533.49. Warrant 104 for $27,590.81. 105 for $9,295.45. Warrant 106 for $101,822.69.
Make a motion to approve warrants 103 through 106.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve warrants 103 through 106. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, Howdy,
Yes.
Mackenzie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
and myself is yes. All right, financial reports, Chris.
All right. So these reports are as of March 31st, which is 75% of the way through the fiscal year. I'll just highlight a few of the things that are in my memo. On the revenue side, last month, a property owner decided to take a certain amount of their property out of tree growth. If you're not familiar, that's a tax reduction program, essentially, where if you want to put your property in tree growth, you basically promise the state that you're not going to develop it, and then they'll reduce your tax rate, and it just remains forested land. But if you take it out, then going backwards, you have to pay back all the property taxes over the last several years that you didn't pay before. So when you take it out of tree growth, there's often a big windfall for the municipality. In this case, for us, $75,000. So it's not money that you can spend because it has not been appropriated by town meeting, but it'll hit the unassigned fund balance at the end of when the audit occurs. So that's nice. The other major revenue in March was we received the annual cable TV franchise fee. It's $24,000, about $3,000 more than expected. If you want, I can go in. In my memo, I go into detail about what that money is for. I can do so now if you're curious, but I'll skip over it if you're not. On the expense side, there isn't that much going on. March was a pretty quiet month. But the only major thing is that we did spend $42,000 on the wharf reconstruction effort. Overall, we spent a little bit over half the total budget for that project. And I did. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. When does that get submitted to the state?
Yeah, that was my next thing. So I in my memo I said that I had not yet submitted for reimbursement, but since I sent you this memo, I wrote this memo, I have submitted for reimbursement.
Okay. Good.
So I spoke with Town Engineer Greg Johnston earlier today about how reimbursements work, and he observed that sometimes it can take quite much longer than you expect it to for the state to fulfill their reimbursement obligation. So I don't want to put a timetable on it, but it could be a little while.
Mhm.
And those are the highlights.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Yep.
All right, regular
Oh.
business.
Sorry, Jamie.
Oh,
Could I-
sorry.
Could I get a motion?
To accept the, okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the July 2019 through March 2020 financial reports.
Second.
It's been moved and second to accept the July 2019 through March 2020 financial reports. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, Howdy,
Yes.
Mackenzie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
myself is yes.
I appreciate that. Believe it or not, but the auditor does look through these things and they look for those motions. So I appreciate it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. All right, regular business. First thing is wharf reconstruction. Do you want to lead with that, Chris, or I
Sure.
saw it, so I can.
It's a pretty simple one. While they were working on the underside of the wharf, they could see that there were several stringers from a previous project, not their project, there that were broken. And the only time that would make sense to fix those stringers is when they have everything pulled out from under it, as they did during the time. If they sealed it up without fixing those, then it would be almost impossible to get at them. So I talked with Jamie, Town Engineer Greg Johnston, and we discussed and mutually agreed that they needed to go ahead to do this right away. They actually have they're finishing up this week. Greg informed me that today that he is giving his stamp of substantial completion on the project, so it is substantially complete today. There's still a few other things that, punch list items that have to get done, but in any case, it did not make sense to wait until tonight to give them the go-ahead to do that work, but I would appreciate your confirmation of that change order.
And I saw the size of the stringers underneath there, and I think this is nothing we need to tackle now, but just for the record, me saying that I think that that section of the wharf, I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I believe it was something like 60,000 pounds. It was the section that was abutting the section that just got replaced. And with what I saw with how it's built and just, Wid's knowledge of building stuff, that I would say that would be a long stretch. So I think sometime in the future, we should look into how much that really should have on it for weight on that section. Because obviously if it broke a couple stringers, then there's a reason why it did.
Yeah. I make a motion to authorize the April 15th, 2020 change order to replace broken stringers not in the original contract at a cost of $5,917.16.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to authorize the April 15th, 2020 change order to replace broken stringers not in the original contract at a cost of $5,917.16. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, Howdy,
Yes.
Mackenzie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
myself is yes. All right, next thing is our backhoe excavator and excavator trailer bid. Before we start that, Chris, I just wanted to be sure, what did we have set aside? I know we're supposed to have gotten a backhoe here for a little bit of time now. What was it, the total amount that was set by the town at town meeting?
Yeah, so it's not this, there's no specific appropriation by town meeting because you have a reserve fund for town equipment.
Yes, yep.
And
okay.
you are authorized to spend as much or as little from that reserve fund as you want without going back to town meeting.
Okay,
So do you want to know what the balance of that fund is?
yes, that would be the next question, I guess.
Yep, approximately $100,000.
Okay, yep. All right. So I know at our last meeting, we discussed backhoe possibly before the excavator, that might take priority at this time. Whatever. What you guys thought of the prices and what we've got for information here on the different, starting with the backhoe, Nortrax, that John Deere 99 for the Milton Cat was 91 for Cat 415. Beauregard had a Case 580 for 90,900. And then there was a Case 580N for 98.9. So all the prices seem to be reasonably, not too far off any of them, I guess.
Yeah, I did a lot of research today, and I went over all these numbers and the different machines. I even went to the town of Southwest and talked to them about their Case backhoe, and they really like it. They pretty much have the Case 580N, only they have a wide track wheelbase. I myself would really push towards the 580N myself. I think it's a heavier machine, got the bigger motor, digging reaches more. The lift of the backhoe is a lot heavy, lift a lot more. That's just my opinion. I would go with the Case 580N.
Yeah, looking at the specs on it too, Howdy, because Case has FPTs, I forgot they did in there for their engines. That's what we deal with here. And the horsepower being 90 horsepower versus let's just say the Cat 415 at 75. That's a fair amount of difference. I'm gonna say your flow, like on your hydraulics, is about the same. I don't know. What do you think, Kevin? I know you have a little machinery background.
The thing that struck me first off is how much more a backhoe costs than an excavator.
Yeah, I know.
And I've had both. I prefer the excavator, but I understand it really isn't as versatile a tool.
Yep.
But
yeah, I think all of them we're in the 90 to 100 range, no matter how you look at it.
yeah, I'd say it would either be that or the Caterpillar, to be honest with you. I'm kind of curious why the horsepower and the displacement don't line up so much between the Cat and the Case. I mean, it's, are the Case turbocharged? And the Caterpillar not? I mean, just looking at the displacement. It's not.
I'm not sure if we have anybody here from Beauregard.
Yeah, but Bob Pollard represents Beauregard,
Okay.
and I believe Lou represents Milton Cat.
What you're looking at is,
No, I'm with Jordan Equipment, Bobcat
I-
dealer.
Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake.
No problem.
Chris?
Yeah,
Yeah, what you're looking at in the Caterpillar is a 415, which is one size smaller than the 580N. The 580N EP is closer to what the Caterpillar 415 is. So the N, like the one who was to Southwest, that's the N, regular size N, is what you was talking about. That's why it's about $9,000 more.
Mhm.
And that's the difference. The Caterpillar 415 would almost compare to our NEP 580. The 580N, that's a bigger machine, bigger horsepower. So you're looking at two different size machines there between the N John Deere and the 415 Cat. So if you're going to go with the 415 size, you'd go to our 580N EP, which is almost exactly the same machine, except it's not a full power shift. It's the NEP is a shuttle power shift where you have to shift it, but there's no clutch. That's really the only difference. If you look at these specs, they're almost the same, all the same. So, well, it's the same lifting capacity, almost everything the same, except one is a full power shift machine transmission, and the other one is a shuttle shift. There's your difference, basically.
It seems to me one of the things we kind of need to do before we even get this far is decide if we're going to replace it with a backhoe or go with an excavator
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
the trailer setup.
Why don't we just look at the excavator prices too before we make any decision, if that sounds good to everybody? Let's see, well, you guys can look across the list here, but Nortrax has a Hitachi 50, that's like 64. Milton has a 304 for 56. Beauregard has a Case 37 for 52. Doors has a Kubota 40 at 56. And Union Farm 40 at 57. Chadwick Bay Ross has a Volvo 40, 58. Anderson has a Takachi 250 at 68. And then, oh, you have used ones from Eagle Rental. They had a used Hitachi for 54. And
that was
Greenway-
actually literally the machine that they used last summer.
Yes, yeah. And that's, I mean, I know we've talked about this before. In my experience, I would, if we're going to spend the money, I'd rather have a new machine. You know, for the town especially, I wouldn't spend that kind of money. And Greenway has a John Deere. It says a 506, but I've never heard of a 506. So I'll.
I believe that would be a 50G.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
A 50 for 65, and Jordan has a 45 for 54.
Sorry, sometimes the handwriting was hard to read.
Again, Beauregard is again the cheapest. That would be my pick again.
I think the only thing with this, I have a little bit more experience with the excavators, that I think a 37 case is not going to be comparable to a 45 Bobcat or a 50 John Deere. That's my only thing. I think that 37 is a different. I don't have the weight specs right here, but I think that the weight's going to be, that's like a 35. It's the same thing. Howdy's a 35 basically. I think it's like 600 pounds or something like that.
Actually, their specs say that it's 7,990 pound.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost exactly like the E35, I guess.
Yeah, it's a 35.
Yeah. It's a 35 size.
Yep. Just going through, make sure there's nothing I missed.
I don't
on
know.
here.
After talking with everyone in town lately, everyone is pushing towards the backhoe, as long as they have a twist rest bucket on it so they can do the ditching and stuff. I think we're gonna keep a lot more people happy in town if we go with the backhoe versus the excavator and trailer.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense too, to be honest with you. I mean,
Yeah.
if we got to load trucks with it and all that,
Yeah, I mean,
you're not going to do that with an excavator, or not very efficiently.
I think if we take our old machine too, like we talked about, and leave it in the salt shed and just let it run until it won't run anymore, and then use the new one, keep the new one for as much good as we can, ditching and road work and stuff like that.
Keep it away from the salt.
Yeah, keep it in the salt for as long as you possibly can. I mean, it might last 5 years, it might last 15, so you never know. So on the, does everybody feel like that we should at least first be purchasing a backhoe rather than an excavator?
I haven't heard from Mackenzie.
We all know when we talk about trucks, I sort of glaze over. Whatever you guys want is fine with me. You guys know way more about this than I do, so.
Yeah, and I mean, if we go with a backhoe, which then I think that I definitely would be more towards the John Deere or the Case product. That's just my personal opinion on those. I deal with FPT engines. That's one of the things that we sell here at the boatyard, and they are a really good engine. We've had really good luck with them, and I think they're tough and they're really good on fuel. And so I think that, I like that in the Case for sure.
yeah, I definitely would go with the Case. I mean, it's a lot heavier machine, and like I say, I like the motor better than I do in the John Deere, so.
Now, if you went with the Case though, Howdy, would you save the money and go with the 580N EP, the smaller of the two, which would be the least expensive out of everything, would be basically like a direct equivalent to the Cat 415, or do we spend the extra money and get, I know there's a ton of horsepower difference if you jump up to that 580N. There's a lot of lot of step ups in it, really.
Right. I would go with the 580N over the EP. I went online today and looked at them both. It's a heavier machine, and I think it would be a better machine for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's more money, but I think in the long run, it's going to be well worth it. And we got the money to do it, so.
Well, when you're spending, like I wished I would have got a cab on my excavator. If you're spending $50,000, then a couple more thousand to get something that, that's going to last longer and be what you need. And I'm just looking at the warranty too. That's one page I didn't look at it first. Basically, they're all 1 full year, 2 years on the engine for both of the Cases. Extended warranty. These must be options as they're listed under the extended
Correct.
warranty.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, I think I'd probably go with a heavier one too. I've just been kind of running through the specs. I mean, it's almost 1,000 pounds heavier, isn't it? 800.
And if you look at every part of it, the power of the ditching, the force of the backhoe is a lot more.
Yeah.
Everything is up there. The loader is pretty similar, I guess, straight across. It's more the backhoe than anything.
Yeah.
And also we got we can dig a lot deeper on it than the other. I mean, a foot means quite a bit.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we go with Beauregard equipment for the case 580N for $98,900.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion made and seconded to, you want me to put this in, in official terms here, to request the town manager to, what is it, Chris, to award the bid?
I'm sorry, you don't need to request me to do anything. Just it's the second motion in your memo to award the backhoe bid to Beauregard in the amount of
Okay,
90.
Yep. To award the backhoe bid to Beauregard Equipment for the case 580N in the amount of $98,900. Is there any discussion?
Yes. Warranty?
I know.
Chris?
Yeah.
Chris, on the warranty,
Yeah.
you do not have to purchase that now. You can purchase that before the end of your warranty runs out, your basic warranty. So that's a decision that you can make. You don't have to make now on the warranty if you don't want to.
Bob, I try to get them to make all the decisions right up front. You're
Okay. Trying to save you a little money now, that's all.
I want to clear it off my plate.
Okay.
Too bad. I'd rather wait.
Ah,
Have you guys had any issues with those engines, Bob, on the?
No, they're proven engine.
Yep.
We sell a lot of them. No.
No, I know Keith New Holland had ran all those engines, and I wouldn't have any issues with that. It would just be, nowadays, it seems like electronics is the biggest cost, and doesn't matter what brand it is, the electronics are gonna be what goes and what causes problems, so.
Most of the, they've got, it's like your car, they've got most of the problems worked out of it. Everything is electronic now, and the new engines as they put it on, they're pretty much trouble-free.
Yep.
Very little troubles.
What do you guys think on, do you think we should wait and just see how we like the machine, see how, I mean, we can wait the whole first year too. Well, you can wait 2 years, but if you wait almost a year and see what everybody thinks of it, and then we could do it then.
I say that's what we do.
That's what I would do.
I'm fine with waiting.
Sorry, Chris.
Yes,
It's okay. I'll put a note in my tickler file. Next March, you guys will have to think about whether or not to buy a warranty.
Okay.
Can do that if I'm there.
Same.
Any of us are here.
Really.
True.
All right. All those in favor, Howdy,
Yes.
Mackenzie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
and myself is yes.
When could that be delivered?
As soon as you send us on a piece of stationery from the town, we'll order it. We might have one in stock somewhere. I don't know. Everything is bought on a municipal pricing of what we'll have there. So we'll do a dealer search tomorrow. If not, we'll go right to the factory and see if they have one selling.
Okay.
And just for reference, Kevin, their bid said 45 to 60 days. So
Okay. No, I was just curious. And that was with both buckets. I think I saw that. I just wanted to verify that.
That's your digging bucket and your cleanup bucket, correct?
Yep.
And it's got a twist wrist on the cleanup bucket.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Bob, I'll be in touch with you on Thursday.
That's fine. Yep, just do that and we'll get things, I'll look it up tomorrow and get things rolling anyway.
Perfect.
I appreciate it, you guys. Thank you for your.
Thank you, Bob.
Well, thank all of you.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Oh, and thank you everyone for submitting your excavator bids, and just because we're not getting one today, you never know. It might be,
Absolutely.
sometime soon or whatever. So now we have some good numbers to go off, and it just looks like for now, we'll just go with the backhoe.
All right, that sounds fair, folks. You guys all stay safe and take care of yourselves now.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
we will.
Thank you.
All right. Just trying to get through my stack here.
Guys, that felt almost too easy.
Well, I think it was a, yeah. We'll
I'm
just-
not complaining, mind you. I'm just felt too easy.
All right, election clerks. We need to have revote in some election clerks, Chris.
Correct.
Who are the people currently doing that?
It's for the most part the same people as are being reappointed now. You just have to do it every 2 years.
Yes.
The list is the full list is in your packet.
Okay. So do we have to, there's what, 10 people, 12 people here?
You just have to. There's a motion in the memo, and it just is to approve and sign the certificate of appointment. So you don't need to list everyone's name.
Okay.
These people are willing to serve when Katie, you call them.
They were each of the parties, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, both submitted this list from their own membership, and I
Good.
assume that they got their permission before doing so.
Sometimes you get a list and then you call and they're like, yeah, no thanks. So.
Well, they might still do that, but at least their party leaders are saying that they asked their permission to do this.
I'll make a motion to approve and sign the certificate of appointment for the slate of election clerks.
Second,
Been moved and seconded to approve and sign the certificate of appointment for the slate of election clerks. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, Howdy,
yes.
Mackenzie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
and myself is yes. All right, town managers report. Do you have one of those, Chris?
I do have one of those.
Oh,
Sorry to disappoint you. All right, major activities the last couple of weeks. Lots of communications with Greg Johnston, MDOT, and Charles Bradley, Widmingtons on the wharf project. And I did submit our first request for reimbursement to MDOT. I opened and analyzed and reviewed the backhoe excavator and excavator trailer bids. And I also did one full processing of payroll last Monday so that in case Jan is not able to come in and do payroll, I am now her backup. Some minor projects going on. I had to ask the MDOT crew for our area to clean up some gravel on Harbor Drive. I've had a lot of communications with Misha Maitar at Maine Coast Heritage Trust about the fish ladder design project and also this year's alewife count. I've had a lot of communications with Mike Hayes about the library project, which is still coming along well. I submitted a 2020 Census Public Employer payroll form. I opted in for some coronavirus relief that's available to our employees through ICMA. Basically, if you have retirement savings through ICMA, that is normally, there's a penalty for accessing it now. Those penalties have been waived, but the employer has to opt in first. So it doesn't actually change anything from the employer standpoint. It just allows employees to do that. I'm still working on getting a heating oil contract. We don't have one on the books yet, and it's taking a little longer than I would like, but I think we'll get there in the end. I spoke with a guy named Tim, his last name is hard to pronounce, Meralio, I think it is, from the Maine Planning Office about our comprehensive plan process. I've been participating in the weekly Maine CDC COVID-19 updates. I've had a lot of emails and phone calls regarding the Hinton Trust. I participated in the Hancock County Planning Commission meeting. I had some emails and phone calls with Keith Higgins and our Department of Labor inspector regarding the site visit from March 10th. We should be expecting the report any day now. Arranged our street sweeping and it is now completed. I submitted our salt bid, our salt numbers to the state for their state bid. We don't have, they bid essentially on our behalf. We don't have to accept their low bid, but it's just an option that's out there. So I like to, have as many options for salts to get as low a price as possible. I've contacted committee members whose seats are expiring this year to see if they want to be reappointed. All of those appointments, or almost all of them, expire on June 30th, regardless of what happens with town meeting. And so I'm just taking it as for granted that they will expire regardless of what's happening with coronavirus. So I think we should just handle that process as we normally do, which I don't think will be a problem. I've had some communications with Sean Mahaney at the Army Corps of Engineers. We are required to submit any proposed amendments to the wharf ordinance to them for approval because of the federal dredge. And so I have submitted it and I should hear back soon. I don't anticipate that they will have any objection to the changes to the wharf ordinance. I've been tracking COVID-19 related expenses, and it's possible that they will be eligible for reimbursement from FEMA. I've also received a number of residents calling to say thank you for the COVID-19 signs. Office staff Katie's working on preparing the town report. Jan prepared the financial reports, and then I wrote the memo. Still helping folks register vehicles over the phone, and we've received a number of phone calls regarding tax questions. And then Katie is working on preparing for a rescheduled election in July. So we'll see if that actually happens. But right now, that's the plan until we hear otherwise. Public Works put up those they built and put up the COVID signs. They unposted the roads. They took the studded tires off of truck 9. They've put away most of the ice skating rink. We're still waiting for that liner to dry out completely before we put it away. They installed a new auger on truck 1. Did a lot of cleanup after a major windstorm, and they did some plowing after what I hope was the last snowstorm of the year. And Justin is preparing floats for the spring launch. He's going to launch the ferry terminal floats tomorrow and Seal Cove floats either Friday or Monday. Justin's also had lots of conversations with Greg and Wade Minkins about the wharf project. He's been supervising the public works crew. He's been receiving mooring payments, and he's had lots of phone calls with fishermen getting ready for the season. And then some things going on over the next couple of weeks. I'll be having my check-in with Howdy later this week. Got a League of Towns meeting, and I've got a Harbor Committee meeting.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
All right, suggestions for the next meeting? Next meeting date.
Make a motion to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, May 4th, 2020 at 5 p.m. via Zoom with meeting ID 899-857-7726.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, May 4th, 2020 at 5 p.m. via Zoom with meeting ID number 899-857-7726. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, Howdy,
yes.
Mackenzie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
myself is yes. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yeah. All those in favor, Howdy,
Yes.
Mackenzie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
myself is yes. All right, well, if anything comes up, then we might have to have something sooner, but hopefully we don't have to. Everybody stay healthy and
Yeah,
hope for the best.
You too.
Yeah. See you guys. Be safe.
Yes.
Thank
See you later.
Bye.